So you've come to find out how to make a change in your child's behavior. That's great, because any lasting change starts with you. This video is going to address how to tidy up, how to get your child to tidy up. Toys, books, general mess around the house. Every parent's complaint. How do I get my child to tidy up? How can I get him to put his toys away? How can I get her to keep her room tidy? These questions have been handed down generation to generation, so it is absolutely normal if your child is causing this reaction in you. You wouldn't be a normal parent, I don't think, if this didn't come up once or twice in your lifetime to say, what can I do about the mess? There's a very effective technique, and I call it the bag, simply because it involves a bag, a big black trash bag. Most kids, and it's sad to say because a lot of kids have nothing, but most kids, in our culture anyway, tend to have way too many things. Too many toys, too many books, too many clothes, too much of everything. They have an abundance. And for young children, it's just difficult for them to keep track of it all and to find a place to put it all and to keep it tidy. It's actually difficult when you've got so much to take care of. What the bag technique does, it actually does two things. First of all, it teaches your child how to keep their toys somewhat picked up and tidy and allows you to have a somewhat comfortable home to live in. The second thing is, over a period of a couple of weeks, 3 weeks maybe, even 4 weeks, depending on how long it takes to really work, you begin to notice that fewer and fewer toys are actually being played with. And then you begin to realize, oh, those are the toys that my child really wants or really likes. And the other toys you can put away for another child or give away to charity or just store until later on when they might turn their attention to wanting other toys. You can bring something else out of storage and let them see if they want to play with that. Saves having to buy new toys, just recycles them. So it's a really, really good technique, but it does take a little while to set up, and it takes a little while to follow through with, but it does work. And when it does, you will feel the difference and feel like a different parent. I can guarantee that. So the first step, as with most of the techniques that I find effective, they have 3 steps. And the first step is the setup. This is very, very important. If you're going to make changes to what happens in your children's environment, it's only fair to let them know ahead of time what those changes are going to be. Then you're not just popping it on them, you're giving them some means to get ready for it themselves. And it gives them a better potential outcome. It's more likely they're going to follow through with it if they know what's coming. So in the setup, let them know that I'm just going to take it through what I would suggest, but you can customize this. Perhaps once a day, you're going to have them tidy up their toys and books and whatever, clothes, whatever else is lying around. You can define what it is you'd like them to clear up. If it's a 2-year-old or a 2.5-year-old or 3-year-old, they may only be able to pick up a few toys. They can't, if they've got into a huge mess, there's no way they're going to be able to tidy up the whole thing themselves. If it's an 8-year-old child, you may want her to keep her clothes off the floor in her room. You define what tidying up is and suggest to them that they come up with some ideas about that too. So in the setup, let them know what is going to be expected to be cleaned up and tidied up and when. I suggest the end of the day, not when they're too tired, but perhaps after dinner, before bed, or before dinner. That's probably, for most children, when they still have some energy left. So you let them know before dinner every day, I expect you to pick up your toys, for example. Answer their questions then about where will I put them, make sure that they have a place to put their toys, make sure that there is sufficient room to put them away in those places. And then when you've answered all their questions, let them know that when those toys are put away, that's fine. They can play with them whenever they want the next day. But when they go to bed and the toys aren't put away, you're just going to go around with a bag and put them in the bag. And the next weekend, Saturday, they're going to get the bag back and they can have all the toys that they want from that bag. All they have to do is put them away. Now, there are 2 exceptions to the bag. especially in a young child. A bed toy or a blanket, something that they need and have had taken to bed with them for all their lives. That doesn't go in the bag. That's an exception. Another thing is maybe in a school-age child, their homework or something that they need for school the next day. That shouldn't go in the bag because that's putting an unfair burden on the child and perhaps the teacher the next day. So bed toys and school items, they can stay out of the bag. Everything else is fair game. If it's left out and it was the child knew that that was a toy that should have been put in the bag and it wasn't, then you put it in the bag after they've gone to bed. They'll get it back. They won't get it back right away, but they will get it back in a few days. So you can just reiterate that to them when they complain that they don't have the toys the next day. Just say, well, they weren't in the bag, but that's okay. You can have it back on Saturday. Keep your voice just neutral and let them wait. Don't get drawn into conversations about, I need to have this, I must have that. Don't negotiate. Don't take anything out. Don't use those toys for any purpose for the rest of the week. Leave them in the bag. Now, on Saturday, bring the bag out to wherever you think is convenient, the family room or the bedroom, and put the bag on the floor and tell your child, okay, you can have all your toys back now. So he will typically go into the bag and take out the things he missed most. And you might find that he really doesn't bother with anything else. Everything else stays in the bag. Well, guess what? Whatever stays in the bag, stays in the bag. And it stays in the bag till next week. And you add to it those toys that were not put away every night after bedtime. Again, just remind him if he complains about it, that's okay, you'll have it back on Saturday. When Saturday comes around again, the same thing will happen. He will want only those toys that he's really missed. Now you can see what's happening here. As time goes by, you'll get to see that bag actually gets fuller and fuller of the stuff and the junk and the other stuff he just doesn't care about at all. That's the stuff you get rid of. You either give it away or store it away. And it then becomes much more manageable for him to take care of what he's taken out of the bag. First of all, he likes what he's taken out, so he's not going to want to have it put away again because he missed it. And secondly, there's less clutter around and it's easier for him to keep things tidy. So this is a technique that does take a while, but it is one that works. And never forget, step number 3 is the reinforcement step. Praise him, acknowledge that he's doing a great job picking up his toys, tidying up his mess, and that it's doing great things for you and the family and whatever praise you want to give him. Don't go over the top, but really do acknowledge and praise him for what he's doing. So that's the setup. Let him know what's going to happen, the follow through with the bag, and then reinforce it with the praise. I'm Fiona Catamol, parent coach, behaviorist, and author of Kids in Chaos, Restoring Calm Through Behavioral Change. If this video did what you needed it to do for you, that's great. If you need more detail, I encourage you to buy a copy of Kids in Chaos. It will give you more instruction, it will give you greater detail on the technique, and it will also give you other techniques that you might be interested in using for other behaviors. Also, stay tuned for my upcoming webinars. Don't worry if you miss one, it'll be posted on the site, and you can download it at your convenience. Congratulations for being interested in improving your parenting skills, and good luck!